Namaskaram. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Parsala Ponnammal lived between November 29, 1924 to 22 June 2021. She was an Indian Carnatic musician from South Indian state of Kerala. She was a classical Carnatic vocalist in the lineage of Semmankudi Srinivasa Iyer, Muthaiya Bhagavathar, and Papanasham Shivam. She was the first woman to perform at Navratri mandapam in Thiruvananthapuram as a part of Navratri celebrations of Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple in Kerala. And she was the first female member of the teaching faculty at Swatithiranal College of Music in Thiruvananthapuram. She was also the first woman principal to head the RLV College of Music and Fine Arts. Ponnammal trained thousands of students in her long academic career, many of them being active in concerts now. Notable among them are N.G. Radhakrishnan, G. Sita Lakshmi Ammal, Dr. Omna Kutti, Amrita Venkatesh, and many more. She has got thousands of admirers worldwide. Today, we are blessed to have a Carnatic vocalist, Vidushi Amrita Venkatesh, who is the senior most disciple of Vidushi Parsala Ponnammal. She has had her initial training from MP Selvanarayanan of All India Radio Bangalore at the age of 4 and continued to learn from him. Srimati Charumati Ramachandran has also trained her for about 9 years. Vidushi Amrita has also learned to play veena from Srimati Suma Sudhindra. She won Ragam Tanam Pallavi competition at Naradagana Sabha at age of 11. At the age of 13, she came to the notice of Sri T.V. Gopalakrishnan when she won a music competition in Bangalore. This resulted in her first December session concert in Chennai in 2001. By 2003, she got the attention of late Sri S.P. Krishnan of Nada Imbam, who became her mentor. Under his patronage, she has performed lots of performances. She performed at various sabhas in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and in Mumbai. Vidushi Amrita has won prizes in many competitions, including those conducted by All India Radio, which broadcasted her vocal and veena concerts. She has won Best Vocalist Award from Hamsa Jani, Spirit of Youth, and many more awards. Her repertoire is considered, besides Trinity, she is equally at ease with other Vagaikaras. We once again welcome you, ma'am. We are blessed to have a session with you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Now I request Srimati Amrita Venkatesh ma'am to share her experience with her guru, Padma Shri Srimati Parsala Ponnammal.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone, and welcome to this lecture as well as interaction about Vidushi Parashala Ponnammal teacher. At the outset, I would like to mention that my mentor and guru for many years now has been Prince Shri Ramavarma sir, who was instrumental in bringing Parashala Ponnammal teacher to the fore since 2006. I had the honor of learning from Parashala Ponnammal teacher for about 5 years from 2016 onwards. Before that too, I had visited her house a few times and also had a few telephone conversations with her, each one very memorable. In this talk, I would like to highlight 3 main facets of Ponnammal teacher. Ponnammal teacher as a musician, Ponnammal teacher as a guru, and as a person. During each of our conversations during class and before I started learning from her, she would unfailingly mention something special related to her music learning, her gurus, her experiences teaching, her concert experiences, concert planning, and so on and so forth. I hope to share with you many things that I've heard directly from her. She used to mention that her first guru was Vidwan Vaidyanatha Iyer in Parashala, from whom she learnt her basic lessons. She was very attached to her younger sister, Sharada Ambal. The family had to relocate to Adur from Parashala. When the 2 sisters were singing once, a Bhagavatar named Sri Paramupillai Bhagavatar happened to pass by. Overjoyed at the chaste singing of the 2 sisters, he walked into their residence and told their father that he would be happy to teach them. She used to recount a few episodes over and over again, and this was one such. She used to say that Paramupillai Bhagavatar had a very solid patantram and teaching method. He was sent by God that day, was what she would always say. Here is another incident that she would go on to recount multiple times. Once, her father brought her all the way to Thiruvananthapuram from Parashala for a competition that was held to celebrate Maharaja Chitra Tirunal's birthday. Doyens like Sri Muttaya Bhagavatar, Vidwan Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer, and Professor Srinivasan were among the judges. She nervously presented before them Kalyani Alapana, followed by Kamalambam Bhajare, and was asked to sing a few rounds of Swaram by Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer. So after her rendition, she went to her father very dejected and said, "Enakkellam prize varadu vaango, ooru kalambidlam." Then they started walking back to the bus stop immediately. They were quite a distance away when a person came chasing after them on a cycle and shouted out that Ponnamal had won the first prize at the competition and that Professor Srinivasan had asked for her to be brought back to receive the prize. And this was a gold medal that she received from Sri Muttaya Bhagavatar. And that was the first prize or recognition she received. On the screen, you can see the gold medal, both the front and the back of the gold medal that she won. At this juncture, Professor Srinivasan told her father, "Inna mari osaktiyana paatu Parashalala irka." And Sri Muttaya Bhagavatar insisted that the family move to Thiruvananthapuram in order that Ponnamal pursues her music education as well as possible. The entire family believed very strongly in astrology. And on consulting the astrologer then, they decided it would be best for the family to move to Thiruvananthapuram then. On the advice of Harikeshanallur Sri Muttaya Bhagavatar, she joined the Swati Tirunal Music Academy as a student. She was recognized by All India Radio, and it was there that her name became Parashala B. Ponnamal, since there was another Paravur Ponnamal on the AIR's rolls, and that would lead to confusion, and hence her name was made Parashala B. Ponnamal. She did her Gaika course at the Swati Tirunal Academy, and then the Gana Bhushanam course came into existence, and she completed her degree of Gana Bhushanam when she passed out of the college. Here, mention must also be made that she learnt Veena from Vidwan Palghat Parameshwara Bhagavatar, who is the composer of the Nata Raga Varnam Sarasi Janabha. During Vidwan Sri Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer's stint as principal at the Swati Tirunal Academy, she was appointed as the first lady teacher at the academy. And after this came another turning point of her life when Sri Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer told her that she is welcome to come and learn from him any kriti, any composition she wished to. Soon after, Ponnamal was married to Deivanayagam Iyer, who is said to have been encouraging and taken her to her music classes with Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer. Ponnamal was very good at writing down notations, and this talent of hers was spotted by her gurus very early. And as her guru composed the tune for songs of composers like Srimati Ambujam Krishna, Vidushi Ponnamal would write down the notation as it was being composed. She had a list of favorite songs of Papanasam Shivan like Parvati Nayakane in Shanmukha Priya, Nada Pranava Vadivam in Shuddha Saveri, Tanigai Valar in Todi, Isanai in Chakravakam. And all of these songs she learnt directly from the composer, Sri Papanasam Shivan. And I was fortunate to have learnt all these songs from her during our first few classes. She used to say that her family life was quite smooth since her younger sister Sharadambal, whom she adored, took on the responsibility of managing her children as well as all the household chores. A landmark incident that was the biggest turning point in the life of Parashala Ponnama teacher was more recently in 2005, when my guru, Prince Ramavarma sir, invited her to perform at the prestigious Navratri mandapam. Let us listen from Prince Ramavarma sir himself what he has to say about this meeting and how he invited her to the mandapam. And my sincere gratitude to Ramavarma sir for having made this video especially for this lecture. Could we listen to that, please?
One of the most prestigious festivals of Indian classical music is conducted at the Navratri Mandapam in Thiruvananthapuram. Women were not allowed inside this mandapam either to perform or even to listen to music. They had to sit outside. I became passionately interested in music from the time I was a young teenager. And from the time I was around 15, 16 years old, I started questioning this tradition of why women were not allowed inside the mandapam in honor of goddess Saraswati, who is a woman. This went on for many, many years. And finally, in year 2005 or 6, a decision was taken to allow women to enter the mandapam. It was, at that time, there was no Facebook and WhatsApp. The social media was not as big as it is now. Who would be the first woman to sing at the Navratri Mandapa? That was a $1 million question. And the only name I could think of was Vidushi Parasala Ponnamal, whom all of us affectionately call as Ponnamal teacher. I had been a regular listener of Ponnamal teacher's amazing music from early 1980s. And we had met formally in a few places, but I can't say I was acquainted with her. So I went to her house and told her that Navratri Mandapam is getting open for women. Would you be the first lady to sing there? And she was really shocked at that time. But finally she sang there, and very, very fortunately for her, for me, and for all of us music lovers, soon after her concert there, YouTube was invented. And one of the earliest videos I uploaded on YouTube was Parasala Ponnamal's teacher. And once that video started getting viewed by people in Bangalore, in Chennai, in Bombay, in America, in many places, the invitations just started pouring in. And she could not sit at home because the invitations, the recognition, the awards, so many things poured in. Until the last few months, she was very, very active. Unfortunately, because of the lockdown, she had to kind of wind up and stay at home. But now, as a 53-year-old person, if somebody asks me what is the best thing you have ever done in life, without doubt, I can say it is to have invited Ponnamal teacher to, not only invited her to the Navaratri Mandapam, but to have put her on YouTube and seen this glorious second innings she's had in her career. And I feel very happy that our combined beloved disciple Vidushi Amrita Venkatesh is doing this presentation on Ponnamal teacher. I'm very happy to share a few cherished memories of mine about teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your input and for adding so much value to this presentation once again. So the first song she started with was the magnum opus Todi Ragam Padavarnam of Maharaja Swati Tirunal, Dani Samajendra Gamini. You won't believe, but at that advanced age, she took the trouble to learn the composition to present at the Navaratri Mandapam, and she sang it without a piece of paper in front of her. Let's listen to just a minute of that clipping of her rendering Dani Samajendra Gamini at the Navaratri Mandapam. Please remember, this is the first time a lady's voice is ever heard inside this hallowed venue. Can we listen to that, please? I was so inspired by this rendition, which Ramavarma sir put up on YouTube, like he mentioned, that when I got an invitation to sing at the Navratri Mandapam from him, I wanted to sing this as the first song. So I ended up learning it to sing at the Navratri Mandapam during my first concert there in 2008. Ponnamal teacher's 90th birthday was celebrated by the residents of Valiyasala in Thiruvananthapuram. And I had the privilege of performing this same Varnam along with my Guru Ramavarma sir, and we sang a duet to celebrate this wonderful occasion. A snippet of that rendition as well. Yes. Let's now move on to her concert presentation, Ponnamma teacher's concert presentation. Her body language on stage was very unassuming. She hardly made any hand gestures while singing. I would think that she clung on to her handkerchief tight in her left hand to avoid moving it sometimes. She said that in her early years of concert singing, she would be so scared to even lift her eyes up and look at the audience, and she would always have her head down and sing. All the grip, modulation, punch, verve, brigas, gamakams would be executed with hardly any movement of the head or the hands. Wave after wave of tasteful prayogams would hit the listeners at unimaginably regular intervals. A very dignified nod of approval at the co-artists playing would be the only movement we could see sometimes. Her pre-concert nerves were very disarming. She would fold her hands in respect to gods and gurus and keep saying, somehow I have to manage to sing this concert well. God should help me. I don't think my throat is all right today. I think I have a cold. I don't know how I'll be able to sing. So this was her routine dialogue before the concert, but one could see how sincerely she meant that the elders and the gods should be standing with her when she performs anywhere. I have visited her twice or thrice just before her Navratri Mandapam concert, and tried to ask her what she plans to sing. With a sparkle in her eyes, having already planned what she would sing, she would never reveal what was planned, and we would have a laugh after that. She commanded a lot of respect from artists and students of so many generations. She was thrilled when musicians visited her or when co-artists visited what she was going to sing in the concert that they are going to accompany her for. She liked medium to faster tempos of songs, but was equally at ease with slower tempo songs as well. She had a very dignified and measured approach to concert performing. Nothing was in excess, be it the Raga Alapana or the Neraval or the Kalpanaswarams. Everything was measured to the point and conveying the Raga Bhava very sweetly in a gist. She had a booming, clear voice that would make anyone sit up and take notice. She was equally at ease with any ragam, be it a Shankarabharanam or a Vachaspati or a Natakuranji or a Sindhu Bhairavi or a Nadanama Kriya. She wasn't inclined too much towards complicated talams, at least towards the later part of her life when I had the privilege of being under her. She didn't spend too much time planning korvais or muktayams for swarams. When she sang swarams, it would be a seamless extension of the mood of the composition. Sometimes she would revel in singing swarams at the Atita Edipus, like in Siddhivinayakam, in the Chamaram composition of Muthuswami Dikshitar. Prasiddha Gananayakam, so that starts before the beat. Prasiddha Gananayakam. At that point in the Sahityam, she would sing swarams. Or at Karam Bujapasha Bija Puram in Vatapi Ganapati. She was very gracious to accept the applause of the audience. Sometimes she would very sweetly clap for herself also after finishing some compositions. She would treat her disciples with utmost affection and respect, and the disciples on stage who gave her vocal support too were treated really well by Ponnamma teacher. I have had the wonderful experience of having listened to her sing at the mandapam, where there are no electric lights and the concert timing is 6 to 8:30 p.m. She would, after almost every song, bend over to her disciple and ask whether she has time left. And only after she got a confirmation from the disciple would she continue singing, though she would have a lot of time left. Irrespective of the venue of the concert, or the occasion, or the theme, or the duration, she would prepare diligently for it and give her 100%. Nothing was taken for granted. Her music was so genuine, exactly like her. I would like to now share with you my experience of having learnt from her for a few years. Every class is etched in my memory, just like it happened yesterday. Let me tell you a bit about how that meeting came about for the first time. In January 2016, I requested my Guru Ramavarma sir to request Ponnamma teacher to teach me. He was gracious enough to take me to her house and request her if she could share songs from her repertoire with me, to which she gleefully agreed. She was very particular about punctuality and would be thrilled if I entered her house a few minutes early for class. She had an impeccable thoroughness in the way she presented herself in classes, in concerts, when visitors came, or even when she was just at home. She would pay attention to details like making sure that the students were comfortable by switching on the fan at the speed they wanted it to be in. She would make sure the room had enough light so that we could see what we were writing down or we could see the book. She would sit on an armchair, and adjacent to her, she would place a chair and arrange neatly on that chair her spectacle case, a small container with an Ayurvedic powder for her throat, a handkerchief, and a glass of water. She would prop her leg up on a very small stool to prevent excessive swelling. She loved narrating anecdotes from her past during the coffee breaks and sometimes during class too. She and her family, her son, daughter-in-law, granddaughters, made sure that every visitor was given the choicest of eats like laddu, poli, jalebi, murukku, mixture, coffee, you name it, and I've eaten it there. She was very particular about retaining her patantram and very particular about the way gamakams should be sung, as is evident from this next clipping you will listen to. This is a small clipping from my class of me learning from her. Deva Deva in the ragam Todi, set to Mishachaputalam, a composition of Maharaja Swati Tirunal in praise of Thiruvattar Sri Adikeshava Perumal. Samya, can we listen to the class Deva Deva clipping? Yes. Thank you. If you noticed at the beginning of this clipping, she said a small prayer to God before she started teaching the song. That was the kind of bhakti she had towards the music as well as towards God. I'm sure she would have thought about Tiruvatta Radhikeshwar Perumal just before she started the song. And at the beginning of the clip, just before I start writing down what she's teaching me, she very quickly takes the recorder from my hand so that I don't have that added distraction of having to hold the recorder. That was how considerate she was. Her formidable repertoire included compositions of the Trinity, Maharaja Swati Tirunal, Subbaraya Shastri, Papanasam Shivan, Muttaya Bhagavatar, Ambujam Krishna, G.N. Balasubramaniam, Matru Bhutaiya, the Tanjavur Quartet, Kerala composers like Iraiman Thampi, K.C. Keshava Pillai, K.N. Gopala Pillai, Kuti Kunchitankachi, Rukmini Bai Tamburati, many Varnams, Kritis, Padams, Tukudas, Tillanas, and devotional songs. She has had many feature programs for the All India Radio, and she's done many feature programs like the Kuchelopakyanam, Ajamilopakyanam, Padmanabha Shatakam, Bhakti Manjari, as well as Navavida Bhakti Kritis of Maharaja Swati Tirunal, to name a few of them. Here is a snippet of her rendition of a verse from the Syanandura Varnana Prabandham of Maharaja Swati Tirunal, which was tuned by her in the ragam Sindhu Bhairavi. Athatadani. She would also say that she was extremely fortunate to have had a very good formal Sanskrit education. And she would keep recounting her experiences having recorded the Meenambika Stotram as well as the Guruvayur Suprabhatam. During class, she would never once look at the time. She was so willing to teach the compositions for hours on an end. Sometimes I had to remind her that her coffee was getting cold or that her leg had slipped off the stool to the ground. Only then would she momentarily be aware of how much time had lapsed. She sang 99.9% of the songs from memory, with every single sangati intact. Unless it was a very long song like a multiple stanza Ragamalika or a Padavarnam that she had learned many decades ago, she would almost never use a book to sing. Here is another sample video of Sharavana Bhava Guhane in the Ragam Madhyamavati, a composition of Papanasam Shivan that was taken just after she taught this to me. She was a specialist at songs with chittaswarams, and one could see how happy she was singing them. She had a charming way of saying the word chittaswarams as chittaswarams with the elongated. And during class, I would deliberately make her say the word a few times and ask her to sing a few chittaswarams from the songs. And during class, if the song was a fast one, she would just sing the entire chittaswaram at one go and ask, "Eidiyacha, Mansilacha?" And then, looking at the perturbed look on my face, she would smile sweetly and sing it again. And I would think she would slow it down a bit or split it phrase by phrase and teach me. But no, she would just go on with the entire chittaswaram and with the entire chittaswaram. And I had to learn it later from the recording. But these were really memorable moments from my class. She has even performed a thematic concert with just compositions with chittaswarams. Here is a sample of her all-time favorite chittaswaram passage from the Kriti Gajavadana. Notice how much of bhavam she puts into each of the swarams, especially the gandharams, the varied gamakams on the gas. This is Sri Attendra Bhupati's composition in the ragam Todi, Gajavadana Sammodita Veera, in praise of Muruga. Can we listen to the chittaswaram, please? She never applied for any post or award or grade or recognition. Ellam Tana vandadu, she used to say. So many awards and recognitions came her way during her 80s and 90s. The Padma Shri Award in 2017. Can we have a look at the slide from there, please, Soumya? Yes. So this is her receiving the Padma Shri Award in 2017 from the then President, Sri Pranab Mukherjee. The next slide shows us her showing the medal for a photo and her citation. Can we look at the next slide? Yes. This is her TTK Award from the Madras Music Academy. And the next slide shows us just how many awards she had won. This is taken on a photo of 2-3 shelves in her house. I've just put it as a collage, one below the other, so it looks like it's a showcase. It's just single rows of awards, rows and rows of awards adorn her house. She has won the Acharya Chudamani from Krishnagana Sabha, the Chembai Puraskaram from Guruvayur, Swati Puraskaram from the Government of Kerala, and the Kerala and Kendriya Sangeet Natak Academy Awards and Fellowships. And all these awards were very special to her, and she loved awards and awards loved her. But at no point did these awards ever make her feel like she was extremely superior. There was no air about her. She was always the same Ponnamal teacher till the end. She was an extremely kind-hearted and caring person. She never spoke bad about anyone. To give you an example, there was a concert of a very popular musician that she happened to hear on the radio. And after that, we had a conversation just after that, because she would normally call me to ask me how my concerts went, and I happened to have a concert on the same day. She heard this radio relay of this popular artist and said, "Nee kettiya avaloda paadinadu?" Ketam patti is what I said. And then she said, "Unakku enna thonithu ava paata patti? Romba per vangina vidushi illaya?" That was my answer. And then she said, "Ama, nariya perku vera madri paatu pidikum illaya?" And she stopped it there. So there was no further conversation, negative, positive, or belittling the other artist, nothing of that sort. She was also very generous in her appreciation of excellence. Her entire family was very supportive of her and vice versa. She loved her granddaughters, Lakshmi and Lalita, and was very proud that they pursue music too, apart from their academic careers. I will conclude this segment with a video of Lalita and Lakshmi singing a Tillana from a concert that happened last week. And before I wind up, I would like to thank my disciple, Ms. Saumya, for having helped me with the slides, as well as helping me with showing all of you the videos during this session. After this video, I'll be happy to take your questions. A thank you to SPIC MACAY too for having invited me to give this lecture. Let's listen to Ponnamma teacher's granddaughters sing the Hamsanandi Tillana of Harikeshanallur Sri Muttaya Bhagavatar. Thank you. I'm ready for your questions now, and if I know the answers, I will definitely give them to you.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Meenakshi here.
Yes, Meenakshi.
Ma'am, நீங்க பொன்னம்மாள் மாமிட்ட கத்துண்ட மாமியோட மாஸ்டர் பீஸ் ஒரு அவ பாடுற ராகம்ல அப்படின்னு நீங்க உங்க கான்செர்ட்ல பிரசன்ட் பண்ற கிருத்திஸ் ஒரு ராகம் ஏதோ ஒரு ஸ்பெஷலி ஏதாவது அந்த மாதிரி சொல்ற மாதிரி இருக்கா?
ஆமா, நிறைய உண்டு. Actually, every composition that I have learned from her, I cherish. ஆனா ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா சொல்ல போனா இந்த we heard தேவ தோடி ராகம் composition இல்லையா, so on திருவட்டார் ஆதிகேசவ பெருமாள், அது வந்து அவ ரொம்ப ஆசையா சொல்லி தந்து, and I also really loved that song. So that would probably be the song that I love the most. எனக்கு அவ சொல்லி கொடுத்ததுல எத்தனையோ இருக்கு. There is also a பந்துவராளி ராகம் அட்டதாள வர்ணம் சலமு அப்படின்னு ஆரம்பிக்கிற ஒரு அட்டதாள வர்ணம். That is also a very favorite piece of mine as well. And அவ சொல்லி கொடுத்த அந்த அஃபெக்ஷன் இருக்கு இல்லையா, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி அஃபெக்ஷனோட சொல்லி கொடுத்தா எந்த பாட்டு வேணா நம்மளுக்கு பிடிக்கும். So that's what I realized when I was learning from her. அவளோட ஃபேவரட் ராகம்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்ல போனா அவளுக்கு சங்கராபரணம், தோடி, பைரவி, இந்த பிக் 5 நம்ம சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, காம்போஜி, அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப, சாவேரி, அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப விரும்பி பாடுவா. And she also used to revel in singing ragams like Kalyani, Dhanyasi, Natakurinji, Atana, so Begada. இது எந்த ராகம் கொடுத்தாலும் அவ வந்து அதுக்கு ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைமென்ஷன் கொடுத்து அவளோட பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ் அதுல ரொம்ப அழகா காட்டுவோம். ஸோ அவளோட ஃபேவரட்னு சொல்ல போனா ஐ எம் நாட் டூ ஷுர், பட் அவ வாட் எவர் ஷீ sang sounded like it was her favorite ragam.
நமஸ்காரம் மேம். ஐம் ஹரிணி, BA ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர்.
சொல்லுங்க
மேம். நீங்க வந்து சொன்னீங்க அம்மா தான் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் நவராத்திரி மண்டபம்ல வந்து பெர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிருக்காங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ அந்த கச்சேரியோட ஃபார்மேட் வந்து அவங்க எப்படி சூஸ் பண்ணாங்க, அண்ட் தென் அதோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பத்தி உங்கள்கிட்ட ஷேர் பண்ணிருக்காங்க?
அவ என்ன சூஸ் பண்ணி பாடினான்றதுக்கா? ஓகே, அங்க இப்ப நவராத்திரி மண்டபம்ல என்னன்னா ஒரு நாளைக்கும் மெயின் கிருதி ஃபிக்ஸ்டா இருக்கும். இப்போ மகாராஜா சுவாதி திருநாள் வந்து நவராத்திரி கிருதி அப்படின்னு எழுதியிருக்கார். அந்த 9 டேஸ்க்கும் அந்த என்ன கச்சேரி நடக்கிறதோ ஒரு நாளைக்கும் ஒரு கிருதி. முதல் நாள் அன்னைக்கு சங்கராபரணம் மெயினா இருக்கும், 2வது நாள் அன்னைக்கு கல்யாணி, தேவி ஜெக ஜனனி வந்து சங்கராபரணம் கிருதி, கல்யாணி கிருதி பாஹிமாம் ஸ்ரீ வாகீஸ்வரி. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நாளைக்கும் ஒரு கிருதி ஃபிக்ஸ்டா அது மெயினா பாடணும். அந்த கிருதிக்கு முன்னாடி ஆலாப்பன, தானம் வித் பர்குஷன். அந்த தானம் செக்மெண்ட்டுக்கு மிருதங்கம், கட்டம், மோர்சிங், கஞ்சீரா, அது எந்த லயவாத்தியம் இருக்கோ அவ எல்லாம் கூட வாசிப்பா தானத்துக்கு. அதுக்கு அடுத்தது இந்த கிருதி பாடி அதுக்கு நிரவல், அதுக்கு ஸ்வரம், ஸோ அண்ட் தனி ஆவர்த்தனம் இருக்கும். ஸோ அதுதான் அந்த கான்சர்ட்டோட மெயின் கிருத்தின்னு இருக்கும். அவ எப்படி அதை பிளான் பண்ணா எனக்கு தெரியாது, பட் இஃப் ஐ ரிமெம்பர் ரைட், அவ தேவி ஜெகஜனனி சங்கராபரணம் கிருதி பாடின அன்னைக்கு that was the first day of the Navratri series la ava paadina. Shankarabaranam was her main, and the Dani Samajendra adukagave ava kattundu paadiirka anga, and that was Musri Subramanya Iyer avaloda masterpiece. I also remember adukaprom konjam varsham kalichi Musri Subramanya Iyeroda veetla ava kacheri pandrecha avlo thoughtful and varnathodi aaramcha and kacheriya. So avaloda masterpiece nu solli adu thiruppi anga paadina. So a planning of the concert na the main kriti will be fixed. Ava apra I think Narasimha Mamavum Arabi kritiyum and kacheri la paadiirkan nenikiren. Adum video sir potirukar YouTube la. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, namaskaram ma'am.
Namaskaram.
I'm Shakti from BA first year. மேம், அம்மா வந்து சிட்டஸ்வரம் நல்லா பாடுவாங்கன்னு சொன்னீங்க. ஸோ அதை ஈஸியா லேர்ன் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்காக மேம் உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது டெக்னிக்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க?
ஆக்சுவலி அவ அவ்வளோ ஈஸியா அது பாடுறாளே, நம்மளாலும் அது முடியணுமே அப்படின்ற ஒரு தாட் வரும் நமக்கு. நம்மளும் அந்த மாதிரி ஈஸியா பாடுறதுக்கு என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணலான்றது நம்மளா யோசிச்சு பண்ணிட்டா இட் கெட்ஸ் மச் ஈஸியர். இப்ப அவ வந்து ஒரு லாங் வர்ணம் சொல்லி கொடுக்கறச்சும் அந்த சிட்டஸ்வரம்ஸ்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ஃபாஸ்டா பாடின்னு போவா. ஆனா ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணிக்க கூடாதுலாம் சொல்ல மாட்டா. ஸோ நம்ம ரெக்கார்டிங் கையில இருக்கிறதுனால எவ்வளவு வாட்டி வேணா அப்புறம் போட்டு கத்துக்கலாம். அண்ட் ஐ வென்ட் டு ஹர் ஒரு ரொம்ப லேட்டர் ஸ்டேஜ் ஆஃப் ஹர் லைஃப். நான் அவகிட்ட போய் கத்துன்றதுனால அவளுக்கு ஒரு சென்ஸ் ஆஃப் அர்ஜென்சியும் இருந்தது. நமக்கு தெரிஞ்சது ஆன மட்டும் இவாளுக்கு சொல்லி தந்துடணுமே, கொடுத்துடணுமே. இவ வந்து அதை நல்ல கச்சேரியிலும் பாடுவா, ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கும் சொல்லி கொடுப்பா. அந்த காம்போசிஷன்ஸும் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்ப்ரெட் ஆகுமே, சீக்கிரம் சொல்லி தரணும்ன்ற ஒரு அவசரத்துல பண்ணிருக்க சான்ஸ் இருக்கு.
தேங்க்யூ.
வெல்கம்.
நமஸ்காரம் மேம். நான் ஐஸ்வர்யா, BA ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர். மேம், நீங்க அம்மா டைம் கத்திரில கிருத்தினா உங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப ஃபேவரட் அண்ட் ஸ்பெஷல் கிருத்தினா இது சொல்லுவேன். அப்புறம் வந்து உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச ராகம் சொல்லுங்க, உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச ராகம்.
எனக்கு பொன்னம்மா பாட்டி கிட்ட கத்துண்ட கிருத்தியில ஃபேவரட் நான் சொன்னேன், தேவதேவ மாம்பாளைய தோடி ராகம் கிருத்தி. அது தவிர நிறையவும் இருக்கு. இப்போ அம்புஜம் கிருஷ்ணா அவளோட நிறைய பாட்டு சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்கா. அதுல கருணை புரி இது தருணம் இதுவே அப்படின்னு ஸ்ரீரஞ்சனியில ஒரு பாட்டு இருக்கு. கருணை புரிய நல்ல தருணம் இதுவே மரகதவண்ணா மனமிரங்காயோ அப்படின்னு ஒரு பாட்டு. அப்புறம் கேசி கேசவ பிள்ளையோடைய ஒரு காப்பி ராகத்துல ஒரு பாட்டு, மாயா கோபபாலா பாஹி மாயா கோபபாலா பாஹி பாமா காமுக பாஹி கோபபால. அப்புறம் பொன்னம்மாள் பாட்டி வந்து நிறைய பதம்ஸ் எல்லாம் அழகா பாடுவா, மகாராஜா சுவாதி திருநாளோடது. அதுல இந்த களகண்டி கதங்காரம் சகி களகண்டி கதங்காரம், இது போல நிறைய பாட்டு எனக்கும் ரொம்ப இஷ்டமான பாட்டு நான் கத்துனேன் அவகிட்ட. அண்ட் கத்துண்ட அப்புறமும் தே பிகேம் மை ஃபேவரட் சாங்ஸ் தான் சொல்லணும். எனக்கு பிடிச்சமான ராகம் அப்படின்னு சொல்ல போனா நம்பர் இஸ் ஜஸ்ட் டூ மெனி டு கவுண்ட். இப்போ நான் எந்த ராகம் பாடினாலும் ஐ ட்ரை அண்ட் மேக் இட் அ ஃபேவரட் ஆஃப் மைன். ஆஸ் மியூசிஷியன்ஸ் நம்ம வந்து இந்த ராகம் தான் பாடுவேன் அந்த ராகம் தான் பாடுவேன்னு சொல்லிக்க எனக்கு அவ்வளோ விருப்பம் கிடையாது. எந்த ராகம், இஃப் இட் வாஸ் சம் ராகம் தட் இப்போ எனக்கு வந்து சின்ன வயசுல சிந்து பைரவியே பாட வராது. இன்ஃபேக்ட் நீங்க நம்புறீங்களோ இல்லையோ, ஒரு ஃபிலிம் சாங்கோட சிந்து பைரவியை கேட்டுதான் நான் இன்ஸ்பயர் ஆகி என்னோட சிந்து பைரவி பெட்டர் ஆச்சு. ஸோ அது ஏதாவது ஒரு இன்ஸ்பிரேஷன் வந்து ஒரு ராகம் என்னோட ஃபேவரட் ராகம் ஆறதுக்கு சான்ஸ் அட் ஒரு காலகட்டத்துல அது வேரி ஆயிண்டே இருக்கும். ஸோ என்னோட ஃபேவரட் ராகம்னு மேபி நாட்டுக்குறிஞ்சி கேதார கவுள ரெண்டு ராகம் சொல்லலாம். பட் எந்த ராகம் பாடினாலும் ஐ ட்ரை அண்ட் மேக் இட் சவுண்ட் லைக் இட் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் மை ஃபேவரட்ஸ்.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
நமஸ்காரம் மேம்.
நமஸ்காரம்.
மேம், நீங்க மேம் கிட்ட மனோதர்மம் கல்பித்தம் அது கத்துக்கிட்ட அந்த லேர்னிங் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இல்ல மேமோட டீச்சிங் மெத்தட் அத பத்தி.
டீச்சர் வந்து அரை பாட்டு தான் ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல, பல்லவி மாத்திரம் ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல, அந்த மாதிரியே வச்சுட்டு சொல்லி தர மாட்டா. இப்போ ஒரு பாட்டு ஆரம்பிச்சா அது முடிகிற மட்டும் மட்டும் அந்த பாட்டு அந்த கிளாஸ்ல முடிஞ்சிடும். சிலப்போ 2-3 பாட்டு கூட ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல எடுப்பா. அண்ட் இம்ப்ராம்ப்டோ அத அந்த மோமெண்ட்ல அவளுக்கு அந்த ஸ்வரம் பாடணும்னு தோணித்தானா ஒரு 2 ரவுண்ட் பாடுவா, நானும் 2 ரவுண்ட் ஆஃப் ஸ்வரம் பாடுவேன். பிகாஸ் அவ வந்து என்னோட கச்சேரிஸ் நிறைய முன்னாடியும் கேட்டிருக்கா. ஸோ ஆலாப்பன ஸ்வரம் நிறவல் வந்து நானே கல்டிவேட் பண்ணிக்கிறேன், எனக்கு ஒரு திறமை இருக்குன்றது அவளுக்கு தெரியும். ஸோ அவளுக்கு ஜாஸ்தி இந்த காம்போசிஷன்ஸ் மேல ஃபோக்கஸ் இருந்ததுன்னு சொல்லலாம். என்னோட கிளாஸஸ்ல டீச்சிங் மெத்தடாலஜி அதான், வரி வரியா சொல்லி தருவா, நான் எழுதிக்கணும், எழுதிக்கிறது இன்சிஸ்ட் பண்ணுவா. ஏன்னா அது கேட்டு கத்துண்டா கத்துக்கலாம், இட் மைட் டேக் அ லிட்டில் லாங்கர்ன்றது அவளோட எண்ணம். லைக் ஐ மென்ஷன்ட் ஏர்லியர், கொஞ்சம் அவ 21 வரைக்கும் தான் இருந்தா இல்லையா. ஸோ நான் 16ல போனதுனால ஆனை மட்டும் சீக்கிரம் சொல்லி தரலான்னு நிறைய உருப்படிகள் சொல்லி தந்துட்டே இருப்பா. ஸோ தட் வாஸ் தி வே ஷீ டாட். அண்ட் ஒரு வரியும் கரெக்டா வரணும். நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல அது பாடி காமிச்சு ஒரு இடத்துல எங்கேயானா ஒரு கமக்கம் இப்படி அப்படி போச்சானா திட்ட மாட்டா, ஆனா அவ பார்வையிலேயே தெரிஞ்சிடும். இப்படி கொஞ்சம் மூஞ்சிய சொல்லிப்பா, இல்லைன்னா வேற எங்கேனா பார்த்துட்டு இருப்பா. அப்புறம் நானே கேட்கணும், டீச்சர் இது சரியா இல்லையா, கொஞ்சம் எதான மாத்தணுமா இதுல அப்படின்றச்சு. அப்போ அவ கரெக்ட் பண்ணுவா. அதை ரொம்ப தயங்கி தான் கரெக்ஷனே பண்ணுவா. பாவம் ஒன்னும் இப்போ நீ பாடுறது தப்பு அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் ஒரு வாட்டியும் சொன்னது கிடையாது. சிலப்போ ரொம்ப பொலைட்டா சொல்லுவா, நீ வந்து இந்த மாதிரி பாடின, ஆனா நான் இப்படி பாடுவேன் இந்த சங்கத்திய, இந்த மாதிரி பாடினேன்னா நல்லா இருக்கும் அப்படின்வா. ஸோ அதெல்லாமே ரொம்ப டிசாமிங்கா இருக்கும். அண்ட் நம்மளுக்கும் நம்ம சொல்லி தரத்துக்கும் ஒரு எடுத்துக்காட்டா இருந்திருக்கு. ஸோ நம்ம எப்படி சொல்லி தரணும், வாட் டு எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் ஃப்ரம் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஆல்சோன்றது ரொம்ப கத்துனாவாக்கிட்டு. கேட்கலாமா? ஐ திங்க் யூஆர் ஆன் மியூட். கேன் யூ அன்மியூட் யுவர் செல்ஃப் ப்ளீஸ்?
சாரி மேம். மேம், நீங்க இப்ப சொன்ன மாதிரி மேம் கிட்ட வேற ஏதாவது ஸ்பெஷல் குவாலிஃபிகேஷன், இது வந்து நான் என்னோட டிஸ்பிள்ஸையும் அவங்களும் இதை எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணணும், இதுக்கு இல்லைன்னா இந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இருக்கணும், அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது விஷயம் நீங்க ஃபீல் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா?
whether she expected disciples to be
இல்ல மேம், நீங்க மேம் கிட்ட இன்ஸ்பயர் ஆகி இந்த மாதிரிதான் நம்மளோட டிசிபிள்ஸே இருக்கணும் அப்படின்ட்டு ஏதாவது ஒரு டீச்சிங் மெத்தட்ஸ் இல்லைன்னா அவங்களுக்கு இருக்க ஸ்பெஷல் குவாலிஃபிகேஷன் அந்த மாதிரி?
No, I think it is more. So each of my teachers has inspired me in forming my teaching methodology, and that keeps evolving with time too. So Ponnamma teacher, what I have learned from her would probably be her patience and thoroughness, and her and how much she insisted on punctuality. So these three things would probably be top of the list, followed by how much she, how less she valued, herself. She never thought of herself as somebody great, though she was so great. She was extremely modest, extremely humble at all times. So those qualities you can't really teach a student. We have to imbibe by looking at our elders and gurus. So those are things I learned from her.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm Selvathi Vasuki.
Yes.
MA first year, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, பொன்னம்மாள் மேம் வந்து இவ்வளோ ஏஜ்லயும் நல்லா பாடுறாங்க அப்படின்னா நிறைய வாய்ஸ் ஹெல்தியா வச்சுக்க நிறைய ஒர்க் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. உங்களுக்கு டீச் பண்ணும்போது நிறைய உங்களுக்கு ஷேர் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க மேம். ஸோ எங்களுக்கும் கொஞ்சம் அந்த டிப்ஸ் அல்லது ஷேர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும்.
I would always marvel at how she managed to sing the way she did at her age of 94, 95. She taught me till she was 96. And she would sit for 3 to 4 hours at a stretch without having to move, without thinking about whether she has to drink water, whether she has to eat something. She never had all of that in her mind. As for her voice, she used to tell me that on the days she had classes, she wouldn't practice much because we have just one voice, and to use that to teach for 4 to 5 hours a day and then expect the same person to practice for hours on an end and then get ready for a concert, that would not be ideal. So she shared with me that normally when she had classes, she wouldn't practice herself too much, because in class she would do so much of singing, and all those songs she would end up revising, and she really didn't need to practice extra for that. Diet wise, I think she loved pretty much everything. She was a big fan of sweets, though I heard in the later stages she was borderline diabetic, but she never stayed away from sweets. She didn't eat oily things. As far as I know, she stayed away from oily stuff, and her family took care of her really nicely and gave her whatever she loved to eat. And she had a very happy life, and that also makes a difference. When there is a lot of stress, I don't think we artists can do too well. Ponnamma teacher had a very smooth life at home, and a lot of affection and love from her near and dear ones. I think that helped her too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, namaskaram, ma'am. I'm Hema Aishwarya.
Namaskaram. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. My question is, இப்போ பொன்னம்மாள் மேம் கிட்ட கத்துக்கிற போதும் வர்மா சார் கிட்ட கத்துக்கிற போதும் ஸ்டைல் வேரிஸ் இல்லையா மேம்? அவங்க கத்து கொடுக்குற ஸ்டைல் வந்து கொஞ்சம் டிஃபர் ஆகும். ஸோ தட் நம்ம ஒரு கான்செப்ட் ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணும்போது அது எல்லாத்தையும் மீறி எப்படி அதை டேக்கிள் பண்ணி யூ ஹேவ் டு ப்ரெசென்ட்.
So actually, if you think about the guru of Ramavarma sir, Vechur Harihara Subramanya Iyer sir abdina was his first guru who taught him his basic lessons and a lot of songs. And avar vandu he was a disciple of Semmangudi Sri Srinivasa Iyer. Ponnammal teacher was also a disciple of Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer. So Ramavarma sir has a lot of repertoire from Vechur sir, which he has handed down to me as well. And each person, we are individuals, right? So we take what we can from each style of singing. And Ramavarma sir has a style which is an amalgam of what he has learned from his guru. He has learned from Vechur sir, Balamurali sir, and K.S. Narayan Swami sir, and Veena Venkatraman sir. Veena Venkatraman and K.S. Narayan Swami are his Veena gurus. So he has made an amalgam of those styles for himself. Ponnammal teacher has made an amalgam of the styles of her gurus for herself. If you listen to Ponnammal teacher sing, it won't sound exactly like Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer sang. Because Semmangudi Srinivasa is one Semmangudi Srinivasa. Nobody can sound like him. Similarly, Vechur sir is one Vechur sir. Nobody can sound like Vechur sir. And Ponnammal teacher, one Ponnammal teacher. Ramavarma sir is one Ramavarma sir. So what I try and do is, because I've had tutelage under M.T. Selvanarayana sir, as well as Charumati Ramachandran ma'am. So all these 4 styles, the good that they all have they have been so kind to share with me, and I have tried to take as much as possible and turn it into a style of mine, which is still very much work in progress. I wouldn't say I have established a Bani or a style. And to be frank, none of these teachers really said, I come from this Bani, so you have to sing like this. So there was no pressure that I have to sing a certain way only. So even if it was a song that Ponnamma teacher learned from Chemmangudi Srinivasayar and taught to me, she would not expect me to sing it like the Guru sang, but the gamakams was what she was very particular about. So in my voice, how do the gamakams sound? How do the phrases sound? That is what she made me focus on. So it is, I think we all take an amalgam of all the Guru's styles and present it in our own way. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Namaskaram, ma'am.
Namaskaram.
மேம், அம்மா வந்து பல்லவி பாடுறதுல வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்பெஷல் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கோம் மேம். அவங்க என்ன டைப் ஆஃப் பல்லவி பாடுறதுல?
என்ன டைப் ஆஃப் பல்லவி பாடி இருக்காங்கன்னு கேக்குறீங்களா? I didn't get you.
அவங்க என்ன டைப் ஆஃப் பல்லவி பாடுறத ரொம்ப ஸ்பெஷல் கேக்குறேன்.
நான் பொன்னம்மா டீச்சரோட கச்சேரி கேட்டு sorry, I'll shift to English because I've been asked to speak in English. So I have listened to Ponnamma teacher after the year 2006 onwards. I haven't heard her sing Pallavis then, but when I asked her about her Pallavi singing, because I have asked her, please teach me a few Pallavis that you used to sing, and she would say, Periyavallam paadi irukra Pallavi dama. So it is Pallavis in Adi Talam or Khanda Triputa Talam. She wouldn't do too much of complication in Talam. But she stressed on neatness in whatever she sang. So I'm sure her Pallavi renditions would have been in the so-called easier talams and not too much of nadai or drinadai or ragamalika or ragamalika pallavi. She used to revel in singing ragamalika swarams, but I'm not sure whether she did multiple ragam pallavis or multiple nadai pallavis. I don't think she did that. She knew her strengths and she sang according to that. So my assumption is, and what I have heard is, she sung a lot of Pallavis in Adi Talam when she was much younger.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Namaskaram, ma'am. I'm Sriranga Bashma, ma'am. நீங்க அம்மா கூட தோடி வரணும் பாடிக்குன்னு சொன்னீங்க, ஸோ அதை கொஞ்சம் பாடி காமிக்கலாம். அண்ட் நீங்க வந்து 300 கான்செப்ட் மேல பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. சோ அத பத்தின எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ், இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கான இன்சிடென்ட்ஸ் ஏதாவது இருந்துச்சு அதை ஷேர் பண்ணலாம்?
For sure. You want me to sing a bit of the Todi Varnam? Is that
yeah,
what? Dani Samajendra Gamini Dani Samajendra Gamini Dani Samajendra Gamini Tapamiha Kamini. This is how it starts. This is the Pallavi of the Varnam. Yes. And with regards to my concert experience is what you're asking, right? Any memorable incident? Okay, so since this is a talk about Ponnamma teacher, I'll tell you about every year after a radio concert, especially the Navratri mandapam concerts, which would be relayed on radio after. So the concerts would be 6 to 8:30 and the radio relay would be from 9:30 to 11. So once the radio relay of my concert is over, for almost 6 to 7 years at a stretch, at 11:01, hers will be the first call. So because she was aged and she didn't feel comfortable coming out of her house to listen to the concerts, she would keep saying, konja chinna vayasa irundha na vandirpene kachirikku. If I was a little younger, I would have definitely come to the concert. Please Please excuse me. At that age, there is no need for her to say things like that to a younger person like me. But she would be the first person to call and convey wholeheartedly her appreciation. And if there was a song in that radio relay that had a different tune from what she knew, she would ask me, who tuned this? Where did you learn this? When you come next time, please make sure you sing that to me. I'd like to hear it at home. So these sweet memories, and even after my Doordarshan programs on TV, she would be the first one to call, or a Nadanirajanam program on SVBC. So whatever program there was on TV and radio, the first call after the program would be Pannamma teacher's call. That's something that's really special. And this was even before I started learning from her also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a great experience for us to know about the legend like Ponnamal, ma'am. Once again, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Over to technicians for video.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I request Haripriya Balamurugan to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening all. On behalf of Sri Sadguru Sangeeta Vidyalayam, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who directly and indirectly contributed to this session organized by SPIC MACAY. First of all, on behalf of management and principal, we would like to thank SPIC MACAY for having associated with us. We had the opportunity of gaining knowledge through the Konakol workshop, Tamil composition workshop, and now with the Great Masters program. Once again, we thank the founder of SPIC MACAY and its Tamil Nadu chapter. Thank you, ma'am. At the outset, I thank our chief guest and resource person, Srimati Amrita Venkatesh ma'am, for spending her valuable time with us and sharing about her renowned guru, Padma Shri Parasala Ponnammal. It was a great opportunity for us to know about the legend like Ponnammal ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. I would like to thank our president, secretary, and treasurer for giving us this great opportunity, and also I would like to thank our principal in charge, Srimati Dr. N. Bharti ma'am, for her enthusiastic support. A special thanks to teaching and non-teaching staffs for their unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to all students for their active participation. With this warm words and kind message, we will move to the end of this beautiful session. Thank you all.